So here's a term you'll hear a lot in your studies: corporate governance. Corporate just means company, governance, how we manage something. So what it really is how entities are directed and controlled. That's all corporate governance is. Corporate company governance, how it's directed and controlled. So you've got to think about companies, you've got to think about shareholders and stakeholders. Stakeholders are people who are affected by or can affect the business. So that could be the local community, could be customers, could be suppliers, could be anybody. So you've got to think of that as well as just shareholders. So when we're thinking about directing a business, then if it's a company, you've got to think about directors. So what do the directors have to do to make sure that the company is well run, is well controlled and well directed? Well, they have a duty of care. All right, their duty of care means act within their powers. So they'll be given certain powers. So they've got to stay in their lane. They've got to promote the company's success. That's got to be their ultimate aim, for the company to be successful, for the shareholders to be successful, to show independent judgment, so they're not being biased in any way, show reasonable skill, reasonable care, reasonable judgment, bearing in mind how experienced they are. So if you're a qualified accountant, then you'll be expected to have a far greater skill in financial reports than would somebody in marketing or something. Have no conflicts of interest, and if you do, you need to show that conflict of interest. So no third-party benefits and declare all interests. So they're the 7 things that legally a director must do. More in the spirit of the law, though, for directors, would be that their duty of care, that they think long term. They don't just think, let's make some profits in the short term to the detriment of the business in the long term. They've got to think of all stakeholders, not just shareholders. So try and look after the employees' interests. Try and build good relationships with customers and suppliers. Try and treat your local community really well. Think about the reputation, because all these things are just really long term. And be fair in how you treat all the individual stakeholders. Don't treat one differently to how you would treat the other.